These stunts you're about to see are dangerous. They were done by trained professionals in secure environments. Don't attempt any of these stunts, any place, anywhere, or at any time. Welcome to Iron Extreme, the show that gives you a look into extreme lifestyles. Hang on to your seats and prepare to go for the ride of a lifetime. Iron Extreme is an exciting new show full of action-packed, edge-of-your-seat excitement from start to finish. And it's hosted by Jim Duffner. Iron Extreme is a show that has people spinning their wheels and doing backflips to watch. Welcome to Iron Extreme. My name's Jim Duffner and I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes. Iron Extreme is an exciting new show that takes you behind the scenes, up close and personal, into the lifestyles of the extreme. Today we've got an exciting show for you. We're going to head out to a small town in Southern California to hook up with one of the founding fathers of freestyle motocross, the king of backflips, the one and the only godfather of freestyle himself, Mike Metzger. And we're going to take you behind the scenes to find out what makes him tick. But first, we're going to take a look at some of the action that we have coming up on future shows. We have some exciting new shows for you, so stay tuned to Iron Extreme, your one-of-a-kind extreme lifestyle show that brings you all the action up close and personal. Iron Extreme is the show that keeps its eye on the extreme. Mike Metzger is the godfather of freestyle and a world-class motorcycle rider. So hang on to your handlebars and prepare to go for a wild ride. We headed 60 miles outside of beautiful San Diego, California, to the small town of Willamar to hook up with the godfather of freestyle.
What's up? I'm Mike Metzger.
Mike, where were you born?
Born in good old California, Huntington Beach to be exact. My dad grew up, actually my dad was born in Kansas and later on moved to California, Huntington Beach, where he met my mom and they ended up doing the nasty and creating me. So it's pretty crazy. I'm 29 years old. I now reside in Wildomar, California. I just recently moved from Menifee, which is my other house is only a mile away from my new house. But I live there with my wife, Mandy, and our two beautiful children, Michaela and Myri. And pretty lucky, my new house that I got is 2.3 acres. We got a mini bike track in the front yard. We got BMX style mini bike course in the backyard.
How did you get into riding motorcycles?
I got into riding bikes from my dad. My dad was a professional local motocross hero.
How old were you when you started riding?
Started riding out at the desert when I was about 3 years old with my grandpa and family.
How old were you when you started racing?
I started racing Suzuki 50s, little JR 50s at 6 years old. I pretty much raced just about every weekend until, I was getting hurt. And then, of course, when you get hurt, you need to take time to heal up. But there's been plenty of times where I've gone out and raced with casts and broken bones and, just push through the pain, because no matter what kind of sport you're in, you're going to receive some kind of pain, and you got to work through it. It's just part of living and learning.
So growing up, would you say that your dad was the most important influence on shaping your racing career?
Everything that I have, I owe to him for, giving up a lot of time to take me racing and practicing and kind of, getting my feet wet as far as being a professional motorcycle rider. I owe it all to my family.
So how did you get into freestyle motocross?
I had a few different people that I looked up to, BMX riders, that later on I tried to start copying their tricks. Like as a 80 expert rider, mini biker, I was, instead of practicing putting in laps all the time, I was hitting the triple on my track, doing can-cans and knack-knacks and showing off, having fun. And, that just kind of followed with me into my supercross career. When I was at the supercross tracks, I'd always show off and, play around for the crowd, and just kind of always became known as a showboater, putting on a show for the crowd. That's what I guess I enjoy. Freestyle motocross didn't really become a commodity or a hot commodity until our first jump contest, which was in Las Vegas in 1998. Prior to the jump contest scene was basically just free riding. We'd get a bunch of guys, go out to the desert with some filmers, and then the popularity of the video scene kept growing, and it was actually helping me get to the races, because I'd make a quick $500 here, $500 there, going and filming for different companies, and getting really good exposure from my sponsors when the videos would come out. And I think the video market really helped freestyle take a quick leap into existence, because freestyle motocross hasn't been around very long. Like I said, started in 1998 as far as competition goes, and now it's only 2005, and we've had several X Games since then. I've won the X Games gold medals in 2002 for freestyle, for big air. I also got silver medal for step up that year. Won 2003 Winter X Games gold medal. 2004 I got silver medal for Winter X Games, and it's kind of been one of those things that I never really thought it would happen. And the things that happen with freestyle motocross, like backflips and 360s, even though I'm doing backflips, it's still unbelievable when I watch not only myself but other riders go out there and do the stunts that are being accomplished nowadays. It's pretty ridiculous.
So now let's see what some of the other riders have to say about Mike.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jimmy McGuire and I ride freestyle motocross professionally.
I'm Todd Potter, 20 years old. I'm a professional freestyle motocrosser.
I'm Graham Guston.
My name is Taylor Sterner.
I grew up looking up to Mike Metzger. He's the guy that started the sport.
I looked up to him since I was a kid. It's always been Mike Metzger, Brian Diga, and Travis Pastrana. Those are the three names you know if you ask anybody about freestyle.
Mike Metzger is an unbelievable rider. He's been doing it for a long time.
Mike Metzger is probably the originator, the godfather of the sport. He's a crazy individual.
First time I ever seen Mike, it was probably when he pulled out the first ever McMets. It was at Lake Paris Raceway. I think he won.
Good at everything he did. He's done Supercross. He was good at that. He moved over to freestyle. Was the master of the flip, Godfather of freestyle. And then he decided he was over that and went on to supermoto and some super bike racing. He's pretty much done anything on two wheels, and he's good at everything he does.
When I was 13, 14, 15, all the way up till I was 20, I was racing motocross. And you know, my dream was to be a freestyle motocross rider. And the guy at the head of that was Mike Metzger. And I got sponsored by Warped Industries, which is a company that Mike Metzger started. And they flew me out here, and I actually got to ride and hang out with Metz. And I ended up living with Mike and his wife for 3 months. And he's a great guy. He's an awesome rider, and his style is just so unpredictable. I think that's just how his whole lifestyle is, and that's why the sport's around, because of basically just the way he lives and portrays his life. Just so sporadic, I guess, that the sport just like came out of nowhere. He was just burnt out on racing motocross, and having the industry tell him what to do, I think he wanted to start telling people how it should be. And now here we are, 7 years later. It's a sport that's bigger than skateboarding and leads the X Games. It's just crazy.
And yeah, he started a revolution that no one thought would go so far, but it did.
I like to see him on a freestyle bike. Like, that's what I do. I think it's sweet. But if super motart's what makes him happy, then let him do it. You know, hopefully he does well in it and has fun doing it.
I think Metzger changes things up so often that, you know, he's put his foot in the door for supermoto, and he's done really well at that. He's gone back to racing supercross. Just anything on motorcycles, Mike's really good at, and I think that's why he can change up so often and put his foot in so many different doors.
Also a really cool guy that's easy to get along with and really good for the sport.
And the guy's just full of talent, and I think that's why so many kids look up to him.
So props to Mike Metzger.
I ride bikes for a living, whether it's going out and jumping them or racing them. I consider myself an all-around rider. You give me any kind of bike, I'll get out there and I'll make it work and do what it needs to do to get the job done.
Mike is world-class talent when it comes to riding motorcycles. But I'll tell you what, and you can mark my words on this, Mike is going to go down in the history books as being one of the best artists of our time.
Before I even rode bikes, I've always been an artist. I think that's been in my blood too. My mom's an artist. Most of the time when I'm taking a break from riding, I find myself doing a lot of artwork, especially when I'm healing up from injuries. But I prefer to paint on canvas. So a lot of these paintings up here on this wall are acrylic paintings. I got art in my blood from my mom and my dad. And my dad not only does construction, but he's an architect and builds homes. But my mom's really crafty, and I know I think some people are born with artistic talent and some people aren't.
Have you ever been injured?
Last time I got injured was December 4th, 2004, and had my left testicle blown out and all my lower abdominals pulled off of my pelvis back. I broke my back a few times, busted both my femurs. Try to stay away from getting hurt, that's for sure, especially now. You know, just a little bit older, a little bit wiser. And, I don't necessarily like to take those chances like I did back when I was a little younger, like knowing that there's a good chance I may end up in the hospital.
If you're ever in Paris, California, be sure that you stop by Metzger's Motorcycle and Apparel Shop.
It's where we get it done. It's where I run my team, run our retail shop with my sister Shelly, and in the middle of getting ready to open up a tattoo shop up front. I like to take care of people, so if you come to my shop, we try to do the best to help you get what you need for your bike and give you some good words of advice if you need any. And my Uncle Joe, he's a painter. Him and I share the facility here, and he has a 4,000 square foot custom paint shop in the back.
It was a pleasant surprise when we ran into two-time national motocross champion, Mickey Diamond, and got to talk to him about Mike.
My name's Mickey Diamond. Anyway, we were just talking about Metzger, and Metzger was always like a real exciting guy for me to watch. Even when he was a young kid and through those, you know, the freestyle films, you know, they got a lot of good footage of him doing stuff in those and creating tricks and jumping big jumps and being real brave.
So what do you think about Mike doing backflips?
I don't believe that he really learned how to do that on a bike into a foam pit like a lot of guys can learn now. I remember seeing photos. He's got hay bales on a dirt mound, you know, in case he doesn't make it. What the hell is a hay bale gonna do? It's hard too when you land on it. I'm blown away that that dude had enough. He had enough drive and put himself in harm's way to do something like that. That's a showman. That's the guy that drinks the gasoline and swallows a match. You know, that's somebody that he's gonna put on a heck of a show no matter what. And God, I kind of giggle inside just thinking about it, like, you know, like, damn, I cannot believe that. A guy that used to race Damon Bradshaw, he's getting into monster trucks. And I think Metzger should be in there too. Metzger, he needs to come up with a better truck than the Gravedigger thing, but that'd be good. He could backflip one of them things, because those things have the horsepower to do it. At least it's got a roll cage.
I could see Mike in a monster truck someday, and if it could be flipped, Mike's the man that could do it. When I asked Mike what the biggest accomplishment in his life was, he didn't say that it was the gold medals from the X Games or his amateur national motocross championship or any other awards. He said it was marrying his beautiful wife, Mandy, and having their two beautiful children.
Pretty much just love to be with my family if I'm not out riding my bike. I'm an animal lover. I got pit bulls.
So Mike, what's the story behind all your tattoos?
You know, for me, it's one of those things I enjoy looking at tattoos on people. It's artwork, and I don't see a problem with inking your body, putting something on you permanently, because when you leave it behind. You know what I'm saying? There's bigger and better things beyond this life. I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I know that you know, after I'm done here, doing what God's intended me to do, that my body will be buried and I'll be in a better place. So that's how I go about looking at my life, and just knowing that my faith lies in Jesus Christ, and there's nothing to be scared of when I get on my bike, or, you know, when I have a job at hand to get done. It's a no-brainer. You got something to do, go do it, and do it the best you can.
dictate us all we have in the faith and that we trust. Time and time we're told, pull back with joy we fall. Some freedom now, whatever you. What's a fight we're gonna win? Some freedom now, whatever you. What's up against us all you want, but we'll never give in. Well, it looks like we're back again. You know we give up our means from intimidation. Shut down, we'll rise back up. But never ever till you get it's not meant to look. We won't be better again when the yoke up right into detention. You try to detain us, the hope that we have and things that we trust. Goddamn, we're coming back around again. We'll come by, we're climbing up the wall again. Some freedom there, we're gonna go. What's the fight, we're gonna win. Some freedom there, we're gonna go. What's up against us all you want, but we'll never give in. Some freedom there, we're gonna go. What's the fight, we're gonna. Some freedom there, we're gonna go. What's the fight, we're gonna win.
Yeah, Mike and I got a lot in common, you know. I'm an artiste too, just like he is, except he paints on canvas, I don't. I paint on ceilings like that Michelangelo guy, you know what I mean? But I don't shortchange it. I do the walls, I do the doors, I do the trim. Yeah, I use a little bigger brush than Mike does, but it's all in the motion of the brush, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it's time to go to the eye in the sky and let's see what's coming up next. On the next show, we're going to see if we can't hook up with 17-year-old racing dynamo, Nicole Cheza. And we're going to hook back up with Mike Metzger, who invited a bunch of his friends over on 50s to tear it up. And we're going to check out what he's setting up in the backyard of his other house. So until then, remember, Iron Extreme is a show that keeps its eye on the extreme.